I would like to introduce.
Okay, let's go.
SPRORTS online radio station.
WNB1 Radio Broadcasting Flies. Ready for 7 all music genres. WNB1 Radio.
Your urban music link.
Welcome to WMB1 Radio and this version of Straight to the Point Sports on this beautiful Thursday summer evening here in our lovely studios. I am joined by my co-hosts, Steve Lopes and Derek Sage.
What up, everybody?
What's going on, good people?
What's going on? The weather's what's going on.
Yeah, the whole
it's
week.
great. Yeah, it's summer. This is what New England brings. It
Just
brings,
drains you.
yeah.
As soon as you go outside, you start sweating for no reason. Even if you're just sitting down.
Yeah.
My daughter made me go to the pool. I was sweating in the pool. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Pool's like bath water right now.
Yes.
But this is what we've only got two months of it, and then we'll be done. When we're in straight January, we'll be.
But I like
pushing for it.
I like when we're done, because when we're done, that means football season.
Football, that's what I think too.
So
Yeah. So speaking of which, the sports are, there's a lot less going on, but it seems as if there's, enough sporting news to go on to fill up a day. It's funny because when you tune into ESPN, they'll harp on a few things, and then, they'll cross over to football already, So, it's there.
Training camp open today.
Yeah, for four teams?
14.
So we're less than what, 50 something days
50.
away?
Oh, less than 50.
It should be 50.
Yeah, I saw
It should
it
be
posted
50.
50 like yesterday or something like
I
that.
believe today's 50. But
Because they're counting the Thursday night game as being the opening.
Yeah.
If you count Sundays, then it's like 50 days.
Yeah, so we're within reaching distance right now of the NFL season as we speak. But that's neither here or there. What we'll talk about today is we'll talk about some NBA news. NBA Summer League, of course, is going on, and there's quite the controversy we know with Bronny James. We'll talk about him and his struggles. And yesterday he had a
Decent game.
decent game.
Yeah.
He had a decent game. It was the first
Doesn't change
game.
everything.
It was the first game in which he could actually say he was on the plus side.
yeah,
So we'll talk about that. Also, we'll talk about. We need to talk about the list in which the great list of the greatest, the 100 greatest athletes of the 21st century per ESPN. ESPN has put this list out. There's a lot of people on that list in which are questionable when you look at their accolades and stuff that they've done during their career in this time. So we got to remember, when we say 21st century, we're going from 2000 on. A lot of people, I did read that in a lot of the comments. A lot of people were jumping into the 20th
Yeah,
century.
somebody was a 98 or 97. That was me right away. I just totally overlooked
He said,
that.
"Where's Wayne Gretzky?"
Yeah. You got to remember, we're going 2000 and moving forward. All right. So when we talk about that, just remember to keep that to take that into account. As always, phone lines are open 774-425-2631, and we are encouraging you to download the WMB1 Radio mobile app, which is available on all platforms, Android or Apple. All right, and you can get that on the go and listen to us while you're at home, while you're wherever. It's as simple as throwing it on your phone and connecting it up to one of your listening devices in your home or your car, wherever you're going. All right, so on to business. We'll start with the NBA Summer League. We just got off, and we'll start talking about one of the biggest stories is Bronny James. Yesterday, there's a way of looking at it. Is cup half empty or is the cup half full? So first of all, it was the two teams that faced off yesterday. The two, the teams that were defeated. They hadn't won a game. Two teams in the Los Angeles Lakers and the Atlanta Hawks. Statistically, two of the worst teams right now in the summer league. And Bronny James had a decent game yesterday. It was the first game in which he actually hit a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
And he was on the positive side.
He was 0 for 16 till that game.
Yes.
Scored double figures.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks to those 2 3-points.
So there is some positive light in what he's doing. I just it's just even we're talking about it because it's front news of the paper, front news of the sports headlines. It's to the point now where you can't go on social media and see anything that Bronny doesn't do. If he makes a pass, it makes it. There's a lot of people that want to see him fail. There's a lot of people that want to see him succeed.
It was in between plays. He threw up the ball, took a shot, threw an air ball. That was all over Sports Center.
Yeah.
It was like.
I think the most intriguing thing that we've witnessed this week was when Jaylen Brown was saying
I was about to say that.
and he read his lips, where he said, clear as day, that he didn't think that Bronny was an NBA player, and he had Angel Reese and his beau, who's her name?
A female basketball player. It's not an easy. I can't.
And she got cut.
She got cut. Yes, she did.
I forgot.
But they were courtside, and the camera panned in on Jaylen, and you could see it. He said, "I don't think Bronny's an NBA player." And then right away, of course, the die-hard LeBron James fans came out, and they gave a stat. I don't know if any of you guys seen that.
Yeah, on his stats.
On his stats.
Yeah.
So he's actually shooting. They're actually shooting the same percentage. Through the first, I believe it's
What, Jaylen Brown some league games?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But you want to know what the big
But he
difference
accomplished
is?
stuff in
Well,
college.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But he was that cat.
You had one guy that had laid the foundation, and who basically earned his stripes, and was a highly coveted draft pick. Not one that was kind of on a wish list from his dad, and that's the difference. And you've got one. Obviously, when he came into the league, he for the first year and a half, Jaylen didn't do much. He kind of sat his first year, and then his second year is when he started to started coming into the game. He was considered more of a defensive guy.
His second year, that was with Kyrie. His second year?
No.
Or was that his third year?
No, that was. You got to remember, he's
Kyrie
one
was
more
there with
year.
him and Tatum.
You got to remember, he's a year older than.
Yeah,
got one more year.
I thought Kyrie's year was Tatum's rookie year.
No, was it? I think that was his third year. Wait, so when Tatum went to the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron, that was his second year?
That was his rookie year.
That was his rookie year?
When he dunked it on him?
Yeah.
I believe that was his rookie year.
All right, so that would have had to have been his third year because they didn't have Kyrie then.
They didn't?
No, they had
Smart.
what's his name?
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas. Yes, that would have been his. Actually, it would have been his fourth year because they got him the following year. They had Isaiah that following year, and then they refused to sign him, and they traded him.
That's because of his
hip. Yes. So that would have been his fourth year. I think his fourth year. It would have been Tatum's third year. Yeah. So I mean, there's leaps and bounds between the two, but I don't know where a lot of the comparisons, even in the summer the summer league, they're two differently totally players. They're not the same at all. But yeah, so he had a decent game yesterday, and who knows? We'll see what he does. He's got less than I believe there's only
One more game?
two more games, 1 or 2 more games.
One more game, then the playoff or whatever.
Yeah.
Which they won't make.
No, because they're on. They're
Why not?
1-4.
Don't they make everybody make it now?
Yeah, they
Oh, is it
have
everywhere?
I think I saw something like
yes,
that.
they have it's it's basically you start from the bottom and you play your way up just like the playoffs. But there's only how many teams are there?
It's gonna be like 12.
Yeah, it's not a full slate of teams. But this is the thing. We'll see, but as currently constructed, I don't see them making any moves. What are your biggest surprises? You should know.
The dude from the Bulls.
Yes. You should
I
know.
like his attitude.
Yeah,
he
he's
plays fearless.
19 years old.
Yeah, he's and remember when they drafted? I think you drafted something. I was like, hey, I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But he played on the same team with a more high-profile name in that league. The kid that went to Detroit, the guy at Holland. He was up until this year always ranked and talked about as being the first person drafted, first American-born player, which I think he was. But this guy, he does a little bit of everything for a big guy that can step out and shoot. He can defend. He's athletic. He's mobile and quick. But still, to me, the guy that I'm surprised how well he's doing is Reed Shepard. He's not just doing well. He's kind of like dominating. Like, you saw the highlight against ESPN when we put the dude on skates.
Yes.
That was crazy. I didn't know his handle was like that.
There's 30 teams in the Summer League. The Vegas Summer League.
So they got all the teams.
Yeah, the 30 of them.
Okay. So it's a
Oh
full
wait,
slate.
that was in the Vegas, and then there's one in Utah and one in Orlando.
Yeah, not everybody plays in everything, but I don't think all 30 are playing in Vegas.
Yeah, I think it's just 12.
Oh wait, you know what? They just that was the standings for all the teams, but now there's 1, 2, 3. There's according to this one, there's 4 in some Utah Summer League.
They already had the California one.
There's 8 in Orlando's.
Did Orlando already play? Usually they're like one of the first ones.
8 in Sacramento.
But some of the ones in Sacramento are in.
The Lakers are in Sacramento, and then the Lakers were in Golden State too.
Mm-hmm.
The Golden State one, they were 2-1.
Yeah, one in California was only California teams. It was like
Yes.
Golden State, Sacramento, the Lakers.
The Golden State is it's Sacramento, Lakers, Miami, and Golden. Sacramento, Lakers, and Golden State. The one in Golden State. So.
But are there any other rookies that you saw that impressed you more? And then I guess on the flip side of it, is there anybody that you expected more of that you're not seeing?
The number 2 guy
Well,
there.
we
Guy, or is it?
Yeah, Alex.
So,
They shut down the guy in Atlanta already, though. Reese Ashier or whatever his name is. He hasn't played the last 2 games. He had a little injury, and they were like, "That's enough. We already know what he's capable of." But he's not a dominating type player. He's a role player. You know what they compare that kid in Atlanta to? Scotty Barnes. Somebody who's a multi-tool player, but he's not going to lead the league in scoring. But he's going to be ranked in blocks, steals, rebounds, assists. He does a little bit of everything, and he's a great defensive player. But Reed Shepard was drafted 3rd.
that's the kid from Kentucky.
Yeah, he's really impressing me. When he went 3rd, I was like, But he's doing well.
He's a scorer.
Yeah.
And he's not big.
And then the kid that had some issues at Illinois, Shannon, he's playing real well for Minnesota. He's had a couple of 25-point games. Terrence Shannon. There's one other guy, I'd have to Google who it was. I saw the stats earlier this morning. It wasn't a name I was real familiar with, but he's averaging like 23 a game, and he's a god. McCain from Duke's doing all right with Philadelphia. But I still have to say that your guy in Chicago and Reed Shepard were 2 of the more impressive that I've seen. I haven't been overly impressed with the majority of the first-round picks. There's been, very few I can count that I can say I thought, were living up to the hype, or really making like a lot of people are struggling. They're lucky that the focus is on Ronnie James right now. You don't hear people talking about Alex Odd going 0 for 16.
Yeah.
You're 6'7", 6'8", whatever. You're going 0 for 16. Right. And he's had a few clunkers. Klingen's done well with Portland.
Yeah.
Castle was doing well, but he's done for the year. He got hurt.
I'm trying to think.
Even Tyler Cole.
He scored 20.
Yeah, the other day
he had 8 assists.
Great shooting, and
he's got his basketball
defense.
IQ is good. He just knows.
On offense, I think he's solid.
Yeah.
The problem's going to be
defense.
he can't guard nobody.
Yeah. Well, the thing is you're gonna have to. He's gonna have to improve in that area.
That and what also can help him out is now that team can play kind of like a zone too. So that will help him out a little bit as well.
He's going to be matched up against other teams' point guards. He's going to come off the bench, but he has a chance of being the backup point guard the way he's playing. I just don't think you see him at critical moments, which is fine,
But he's not gonna. Right now. He's not gonna be that. He's not gonna be needed as that critical player with the roster.
Right. He's just going to come in when Brunson's not running the offense.
Well, let's just. He was a second round pick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah, he was one of the first picks on the second day,
Yeah.
like the second or third pick.
Now he got signed to he got signed to a contract.
Yeah, nowhere near Bronny's, and he
no.
was Player of the Year candidate as a junior.
So more than likely, he may end up in the G League. I don't know, especially with the roster that they're assembling now in New York. It's going to be tough to.
Didn't they just pick up the kid from Philly?
Yes,
Another
Villanova guy, wasn't he?
No, Mikal Bridges?
No.
No, they picked up somebody else like
No.
the other day.
Yeah.
I know I saw 2 rumored big names going, but one I can't see. Alex Sungun,
No,
the kid from Houston,
No.
and
No, he played for Philly.
James Duran from Detroit. No, they were just rumored. They need a big man to fill up for Hartenstein. And they said one of those guys, they won't be asked to score. They just got to come in, rebound, shot block, protect the rim, be physical. But Sungun in Houston, I can't see them letting him go. He's still on his rookie contract. He's played very well.
Oh, man. What was his name?
Cam Payne.
Yeah, there you go.
Cameron Payne, yeah, he's not from Villanova.
No.
But he's
Cam Whitmore was.
but he's a decent ball. He's a decent
Yeah, he is.
player.
He's bounced around to a couple of places, but he's solid.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to put together, guys who can come in, and
And it's not going to cost him a lot.
yeah, he showed flashes here and there. When
He-
played for Philly.
He can do it. He can get the job done.
All right. How about some NBA news? A actual trade that went on today involving
Mr. Russell Westbrook.
yes.
Short-term trade.
Yeah.
Very sure.
Yeah. So he was being traded to
Utah.
and Utah is going to buy his contract out.
And then Utah is
And
trading
Dunn. Yes, for Chris Dunn, yes. And he's going to be bought out, and rumor has it he's going to be signed by the Denver Nuggets.
and he'll be coming off the bench over there as well.
Yes, which is good because he brings a lot of things to the table that they can use.
Yes.
Especially losing
Caldwell Pope.
Yes, especially losing Caldwell Pope. Let's face it, he can't shoot like Caldwell Pope, but
We'll play defense.
when he pushes the ball, and plays at a fast pace, that's when he plays his best. Just don't give him the ball.
And the important thing we learned about him last year was his willingness to accept a role off the bench. He can be that guy on the second team. They definitely don't need him to be an option on the first team. They got 3 better options on the starting 5. But when you go to that bench, you got somebody who's capable of scoring or taking over in small spurts. And if that's the role he's willing to play like he did with the Clippers last year, then they can use him.
And he can be a leader.
And he's only $4 million a year. You saw Caldwell Pope's like $19 million a year or something crazy.
They needed a break on that payroll.
Yeah. You already got Porter and Murray and Jokic already making, crazy money.
Yeah.
You
So
can't pay nobody else.
so he's got the right frame of mind. He's not one of those guys where I need to come in and I need the ball and I need to start.
Yeah.
We witnessed that when he went over to the Clippers, from the Lakers. And I think, me personally, I think if it hadn't been for him making the decision to go to the bench, I think that the Clippers season would have been over. Because none of those other guys were willing to say, okay, bite the bullet and say, okay, I'll put my pride aside now and go to the bench.
But not for nothing. I don't think they really had a choice because
those other guys did. But you got to remember, he was making a lot of money too at the time.
yeah.
He had just come off of I want to say it was a 40, because they sent him over there with the same money that the Lakers had.
He was a max guy.
40. He was making I want to say $42 million.
Yeah, no, he was definitely a max guy. I remember that.
So it's just he was the one that put his pride aside and said, you know what, I'll go to the bench. And from that point on, they played better because their first 12 games, they were like 4-8. And then he said, I'll go, and then they turned it around real quick.
They didn't have anybody on the bench really. Think about it. But before he went to the bench, I'm saying, who was their bench guy? Was it Gordon?
Can't remember. Did he play last year with the Clippers?
In the beginning, I want to say he did. I don't know if he finished out with him, but
yeah, it's very strange. Speaking of them, Kawhi Leonard being replaced.
now that's funny though.
Being replaced on the
Worst kept secret ever.
on the
Olympic
Olympic team, and the crazy part about it was, so they had three practices, and according to their general manager, who was upset, he said that I was there at the first two practices, and he looked great. He looked great. He was doing everything and didn't have any restrictions. And then he goes, I left on the third practice, and suddenly they made this decision where they said that it was in the best of the interest for himself and the Los Angeles Clippers organization, as well as the USA, for him to, step aside and do whatever he needs to do to get better.
They put it all on Grant Hill.
Yeah. But the thing here is when this happens, were we really surprised?
No.
Couldn't play in the playoffs 2 months ago.
I thought Big Man was going to be out too. Embiid.
And honestly, Embiid, he is not a good fit for that team. He's not a good fit for that team because the team gets up and down, and he cannot get up and down.
And they want some starting.
Yeah. He can't get up and down with them. That's the bottom line. And you look at his stats. He's 4 or 5 foul out. I don't. Number one, I don't think he's fully recovered from his injury.
No, and he's not.
And number two, he's always out of shape.
Yeah.
Always out of shape. He doesn't come back.
Contributes a lot to his injury history.
He doesn't come back. When's the last time you can honestly say Joel Embiid looks great? He looks like he's in shape.
Unfortunately, he's not the only.
When he was at Kansas, maybe.
Zion's the same way. Like, these guys have super talent, but if they don't keep themselves in shape, it leads to constantly being hurt.
These big guys should look no further than Shaquille O'Neal.
But he was never hurt.
But the thing is, if you want your career, even Shaquille says it. Shaquille says at year 14, 15, I started breaking down. Year 13, I started breaking down. By year 14 and 15, he was a mess.
Bouncing around every year.
Every year to a different team because He was hoping that he could do better, but every year he came in heavier than the previous year. It's just not. It's not possible. Granted, you were once the biggest immovable guy that there was, with the greatest, with some of the greatest low post moves combined with your size and your strength. But when your body fails you, what are you going to do then?
Exactly.
When your knees goes, your back goes, your feet go, what can you do? And you look at a guy like him when he finished his career in Boston with a torn Achilles. He couldn't even get up and down the court.
Yep.
And these guys should be they should be taking care of themselves. But being that big, that's a sign right there. You show me one big guy. You show me one big guy that has withstood the test of time. 7 feet plus, or in excess of 270 pounds. It's just too much pounding.
The history of the big men in the league is bad.
Yeah, this is
Ray
where I'm going.
Logan and
This is where I'm going. You go as far back as Bill Walton.
Rich Smits and the Pacers. Bill Walton. Just thinking off the top of my head, I can name 5 big men whose careers were prematurely cut short because their body couldn't take Yao Ming.
Yeah.
Guys that were dominating, but when you're carrying almost 300 pounds on a 7-foot-something frame, your feet aren't made to take that type of pounding, and it's just harder on them at that size. And unfortunately, if you don't keep yourself in tip-top shape, I thought Yao Ming stayed in shape for the most part. I didn't see nothing with weight problems, but that was still too much of a pounding. He only played, about 6 years?
82 games, you figure 82 games, and then you throw in, let's say if you were to make it to the conference finals, all right? That's another 16 wins that you're going to have to amass. Who knows how many losses you're going to have on the other hand. Let's add another 7 games, 8 games onto that at max. All right, so now you're at 24 games. All right, so now you're over 100 games.
Don't forget the preseason.
Now you're over 100 games.
Practices.
Now you're over 100 games. And to be running up and down at that, with that amount of weight, at that amount of speed against those, high caliber players, it's not a good thing.
And then not maintaining during the offseason. Shaquille and them blow up during the offseason, and their first order of business is getting back into playing shape after 3 months off, 4 months off.
And then you're banging with another guy that's 7 foot, 268 pounds or something.
You would think that these guys, the way a lot of them, how you see them in the off season, you would think that they have a boxer's mentality. Like, you know what? I can just snap back into shape.
Okay.
And let's face it, unless you have the willpower of a boxer, all right, who is held to a standard because they have to meet certain weight criteria, all right. People, a guy could be walking around at 200 pounds and be a welterweight, but you know what? He's accustomed to making his body that way and manipulate it to go back. These guys aren't. They're not. And the sad part about it is they have world-class training.
These boxers,
and nutritionists, and
you're talking about the boxers though, that they can sit here and just spit out 6 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you spit out 6 pounds? That's crazy.
This is what I'm saying. They have the willpower and the want. Where these NBA, I'm fine, and
they're thinking I have 82 games to get in shape.
And you look at someone like LeBron James, who spends in excess of $1 million a year on his body. That's the type of dedication you need. You need that type of dedication. Otherwise, you just think you're going to just step out on that court. There's somebody that's working like that. Across from you, and you're already at a disadvantage. And this is the reason, like a guy like a Joel Embiid, a guy like a Zion, you have to lose weight. Just think about it, right? At 7'1" and 6'8", at 320 pounds, maybe, or at 275 pounds, jumping. And getting off the ground, 2.5, 3 feet off the ground, and then falling on your back. What do you think? How do you think that's going to work? It's not going to work good.
No, not at all.
You know?
You don't have a lot of recovery time playing an 82 game schedule.
No, it's not. This is, these guys, like I said, it's a shame because they have so much more outlets now than the players had before, as far as recovery, as far as being able to do things. They do that cupping, they do all kinds of stuff. This technology now is so much greater than it was before, and you would think that they would take full advantage of it, and a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't, and unfortunately, it shows. It shows. It shouldn't take James Harden 2.5 months to get out of a fat suit. It shouldn't.
No.
It shouldn't. And unfortunately, until he gets to the All-Star break, he sheds some of it off, some of it off. But it shouldn't be that way. You should come in tip-top shape.
So you already got paid for this.
Yes,
You get
yes.
paid for this.
Yes.
This is your job.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what'll happen is the off season will come, and these guys will complain about not getting a max contract. Guys like a James Harden. I'm going to put my heart and soul out there, and but yet come in and look overweight. It's like no.
You can't contribute at the level you once produced at.
Yeah, it's wild. I sometimes it amazes me to look at some of these guys, and how they're thinking. It's like, what are you thinking? You could just step on the court and and think that you're going to be. And what's even worse is they're getting older.
Yeah.
There are younger guys that are coming in behind you.
That want it.
Yes.
That are in shape.
Yes.
That are working out in the off season. That are doing this.
Yes,
That are doing that.
It's wild. It's wild. But yeah, it's just one of those things that who knows if we'll ever see Kawhi Leonard at the level that he once was.
I've seen the best of him.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
How long has he been in the league now? It seems like forever since he played for San Antonio. Tim Duncan was playing.
But the wild thing is, you talk about Kawhi Leonard, and you would think that he's an all-time great. You look at his points, and he's not even close to scratching.
But
he misses too much time to injury.
But he's not a scorer.
He can't be if he wants.
He's more of a defensive guy.
Well, no. The
defense.
The defensive mantra, I think, is surpassing. He's more
Like Klay Thompson.
Yes, he's more now. He will give you a lot better offense than he will defense. I think he'll save his defense for the end of the game, as opposed to when he first started. Okay, kid, here you go, LeBron James, get on.
Yeah.
He's no longer that way. But yeah, I think he's now he's a shell of himself. He's once again what's the best availability, and he just doesn't meet that anymore. If you're talking about a guy who, we're talking about a guy who over the last 3 years, I think, has actually missed more games than he has played.
Yep.
And you can't. For the life of me, I don't even know how he's gotten max contracts. He got the last max contract. They're going.
That was the reason they couldn't keep Paul George.
Yeah,
The crazy part
Because they paid him more than they were willing to pay George, and George is healthy.
But if I'm not mistaken, he made one of the All NBA teams.
Why?
Yes.
This year?
Yes. I want to say he was on the second or third team.
Well, he was healthy for 3/4 of the year, but then come playoff time, we never see him. It's always a question of, is he going to make it? Is he going to be available? And I feel bad because they have a good team, and then they can't depend on him to contribute.
No, he's just not there at the end. And sadly, the last 3 years, it's all been in the playoffs. All in the playoffs. Just before it's either in the playoffs or right before the regular season is about to end. And then, you know what? And everybody, it's a little knee. Oh, he's being shut down. It's like, oh my God.
And they never tell us how serious the injury is.
It's like,
He never ends up.
all you know is he gets shut down. That's all you know is he's been shut down. And then slowly you start hearing about it. But this is who he is. So
He made the second team.
So
All NBA second team.
So in moving forward with him, His replacement, controversy there.
Derek White.
We got controversy there because people are saying, why isn't Jaylen Brown on that team? There's a conspiracy theory that Nike, him speaking out, and him not wanting to sign long-term deals with Nike, and him forcing Nike to basically be more proactive.
Is he on Nike now?
He's on Nike now, but he's on an expiring contract, and he's negotiating elsewhere. And Nike, the theory is Nike, they run Team USA, and that's the theory behind it. I don't know. I'm only reading.
Team USA, everybody except 2 people wear Nike.
Yes,
No,
three people. Steph Curry.
Steph with Under Armour.
There's someone with Adidas.
Edwards.
Edwards with
Yes.
Adidas and Embiid with Skechers.
Yeah.
Who wears Skechers? One wears
yeah.
foot problems.
It's just a theory. I don't know, but it does seem kind of strange that your Eastern Conference Finals MVP, your NBA Finals MVP,
And like second team. Did he make second team or third team all?
No,
He didn't make none of them.
He didn't make any of them.
There is another theory, and I don't know how true it is, but it made me think once I heard it. He's a devout Muslim. Kyrie Irving converted to being Muslim. They're saying that because of their religious beliefs, that's another reason that both of them were blackballed.
Well, the thing was,
Kyrie's also not a Nike person.
he got dropped.
Yeah,
he
but
got
because
dropped.
of his statements.
But the thing,
Jalen's never made those outrageous
there we go.
statements.
Jalen has never come out and has used religion. He's just being an activist.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an activist in the way of, okay, you better change it or else. It's like, I'd like, I'd like to use my own money to better the communities around Boston.
Yeah.
He doesn't say, okay, you need to do it.
He said he wanted to start a Black Wall Street in Boston.
Yes.
That made it seem like a little bit of separatism. But who else is going to put that much time and effort into a project like that? Because mainstream doesn't really care about that.
No.
So he sees a hole and a need. I'm making the type of money. I'm not asking nobody for it. How are you going to criticize somebody who's willing to put up their own money to fund their cause? But here's the thing. As much as Kyrie says outrageous stuff, Kyrie and Jalen are both very intellectually smart people. They're not going to just take the status quo of what the mainstream wants people to believe. They think outside the box, but they're very articulate and very well versed. I think that's a scary thing as a minority person making that type of money, having the ability to influence people. I think sometimes mainstream doesn't want you to do that, or Nike doesn't want you to do that.
They say Kyrie has the highest IQ out of any
He
pro.
went to Duke out of all the schools he could have gone to, even though he only went 1 year. They said he's one of the more intellectually smart people. I heard that about, but Jaylen Brown's also that same type when he was at Cal.
I think they said he was like number 4.
Jaylen Brown speaks like 5 languages.
5 or 7.
Yeah,
They said Kyrie was number 1.
Yeah, but there's a lot of similarities between them two, which goes to make me wonder why they got along so well.
Well, another thing that came about with this whole Jalen not making the Olympic team was Stephen A. Smith. He said, remember when he said, I'm not gonna give up any of my
Sources.
My sources. He said, do people believe me now? He said, do people believe me now?
And what was his statement, just to refresh my memory? What was Stephen A. Smith's statement?
About being marketable, about Jaylen Brown not being marketable. They said for an athlete who was as successful as he was last year, second team All NBA, and had one of the most successful, as far as stat wise, improving, and he's improved every year, with the exception of this year, obviously, because you had a whole slew of guys on your team that just, even Tatum's numbers fell. But the whole idea, that Stephen A. put out was he wasn't as marketable. He wasn't. People were saying that he's not marketable. He doesn't move the needle when it comes to market. And I believe it's what you said. It's him thinking outside the box, him talking about a Black Wall Street. They don't want to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. There's too many taboo issues that are still
Stephen
prevalent.
A. Smith said, "Y'all believe me now? You still want me to give up my sources?" He said, "Come talk to me now." Okay. And this was all as a result of Jalen not being invited to, once Kawhi was replaced, not being asked. Stephen A. Smith came out directly and said it when people were questioning it. And he said, "Y'all believe me now?" It comes down to marketability. And, so
But Derek White's marketable?
no,
but he fits the mold because
he's not a.
he doesn't need the ball. They want him for defense, team leadership,
So this
dependability.
is so.
get the open
So
three.
the reason that the Olympic team gave was it wasn't. They believe that the better teams aren't wing dominated. They are guard dominated. That is the reasoning that they gave on not selecting Jaylen Brown. He is a wing, and he said the best teams, quote unquote, was the best teams, the top teams in the Olympics are guard and big men heavy.
Well, big man, yeah. Because I was gonna say
Guard-
France doesn't have the guys.
Guard-
They got a young kid that's coming up, and I don't know if he's ready to compete like that yet.
Guard and
Yeah,
big
big
men. Wings are not a factor, and that's what obviously Jaylen Brown is. So they said they were looking more for defensive guards, and he allegedly fit the best for
Didn't he
that.
play off guard this year for the Celtics? Tatum was a small
well, no,
forward. He was the off guard.
So who? White?
Oh no, wait, because Holiday moved
No,
into
no.
that role.
He was
White was the point.
White. Yeah, White was
White was
point.
the point,
White
and
was-
Holiday.
Yeah, it didn't make a difference because they played.
It was
five
the year
out.
before he played off guard.
Yes,
Before Holiday.
they played 5 out, so it doesn't make a difference. Any
Yeah.
one of those guys can initiate.
But when you're saying they consider him a wing, I was like, wasn't he listed as an off guard? Yeah. But that was the year before Holiday.
So they're thinking, like I said, the Olympic team. Their explanation was those better teams that are going to be in the medal contention are guard and big men heavy. Wings are not an area of concern. So that's what they were going off of. I don't.
And nothing. They don't need another scorer.
No.
They got a plethora of that.
And look at how that team's performing. Like the leading scorer every night. The highest is like 17.
14, 15
Yeah.
points. Well, that's the thing.
So many of them can put
Yeah.
up double figures.
You have one game like Curry had where somebody might drop a 20 ball.
Yeah, he gets hot.
But you're not going to see nobody averaging 30. You're not going to see someone doing 30 or 40 because now you're talking about one guy taking 20 shots. And that's
the
not
closest
going
I've
to happen.
seen was when Carmelo did it. He was always great on the Olympics. And everybody said, he's not one, but he always played. He was always the leading scorer amongst all those stars. But
yeah, see, people seem to forget the Dream Team. Who was the leading scorer?
Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley was the leading scorer.
The
He was the leading
original Dream
rebounder and the leading scorer.
yeah. They said he was super popular in the other country. Was that Spain that was Barcelona when they were over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They said he was super popular even off the court.
Because he was always out.
Yeah, but he's a people person.
Yeah, he is. He's a people. Did you see the interview with Charles Oakley?
Yeah, he's still threatening him.
He don't like Barkley at all.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
he's not on the set. He hasn't accomplished nothing on the court or as an analyst to criticize Barkley.
Yeah. He was saying, I don't know how Barkley gets off saying these things. He goes, if this were 25 years ago, 30 years ago, somebody would have punched him in his fat mouth. He said he needs to get in the gym and he needs to worry about his fat self because he's going to end up having a heart attack. He's too fat and he's overweight.
He doesn't have to be in shape to be an analyst.
No.
I don't think he's that fat.
to me, it sounds there's a lot of
There's a lot of hate.
There's a lot
of hate in that.
Listen, if you can't get over what was happening 25, 30 years ago, and you're still holding on to that grudge, you got an issue. You got an issue. I'm sorry.
Charles Oakley has issues, man.
Oh yeah, he does. But yeah, it you know, it's just you know, I saw that. I was, you know, now you're making me look. You're looking like the Isaiah Thomas, and Charles Oakley, you look like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's exactly,
you know?
That's exactly how
and it's like God, let it go. 30 years, and you're still living. You're still letting that man live in your head rent free. Really?
Yeah.
It's wild. But yeah, so that was the story with Jalen. You know, a lot of people find it odd. You know, the theories, the conspiracy theories that are rolling around. That was just some of them. But you know what? If I'm Jalen, he's come off obviously the most successful season ever. Building off of that. You know what? Take all that hate, all that disrespect, just like you did, just like how he dropped the 40 bomb when he was named to the All NBA team. Let your play do your stuff.
I could be that type of player, but my team doesn't need me to be that dominant. I have a team. Any one of the guys that are on my team could take something personal and do that same exact thing.
Yeah. Well, the great part about it was they needed him that night. They needed him to be that guy because they were struggling. Jason Tatum was struggling. Tatum was struggling really bad. White was having an off game, and obviously there was no Porzingis.
You're never going to have all
so
six.
It's like you know, you needed him to have that game. And then how does he follow that game up? He follows it up by hitting that corner shot. So
that was big.
Yeah, of course it was. You know, you let all this noise, you let it all go by you, and you let your game speak for you. That if I'm Jay, what more does he have to prove? Eastern Conference, NBA Final. He's done what everyone wishes they can do. He's swept everything. You gets no better. It gets no better. You know what I'm saying? And he's still one of the third highest player in the league, paid player in the league. So what more do you really need?
He's the third right now?
Yes, he's the third place. So it goes Tatum, Giannis, and then him. Yep.
I didn't realize Giannis got that much.
You just so all you gotta do is think about it on a yearly basis.
Yeah, no, I know.
Per year, he is the third highest. For salary over he's the second highest but per year. It goes Jason, Giannis, and then him. 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, I wouldn't even be concerned about all the stuff. You know what? I literally would be there and be like I'd be doing all kinds of reels, like living my best life in the swimming pool. In between final, time.
The conference championship and MVP with the finals.
With a nice margarita, setting up, shining them up.
You just want to have a gold medal, that's all.
But he's still got plenty of time.
You know how many gold medals you need to make one of these?
Yeah. He's still got plenty of time.
He'll be there.
He's got in 4 years he could be there.
Is he 25?
No, he's older than
Tatum. He's older than Tatum.
Tatum's going to be 26, so I think he's going to be 28.
Still.
Yeah. But he'll still be by that time he'll be literally close to a little bit over his prime. But 30 years old, I mean, let's face it, a lot of the great players, they say you reach your peak at 30. You're that's when mind, body, and everything comes together and you use it. But he'll have plenty of time, and even if he doesn't, who cares? Because everybody wants. If you ask me over a gold medal or NBA trophy and an Eastern Conference Final and NBA, I'm gonna take those.
And guess what? With our team in the Olympics, you're expected to win the gold medal.
Yeah, I know.
There's nobody that's expected to win the championship. There's too much, competition that. If people stay healthy, some teams, right? The Celtics were lucky enough to stay relatively healthy, but other teams couldn't. Kawhi, you just mentioned, Embiid, Giannis, but with that collection of stars in the Olympics, I don't put as much emphasis on the gold medal because if they lose it, that's national news. That you have to win, and they're going to win and win big.
Yeah. All right, let's talk
They
about.
call themselves.
Well, before I don't know if you're going to move on from basketball, but I wanted to mention the contract the WNBA just got. While we're still on basketball,
Yeah.
it was crazy, $2.2 billion.
So this is what we were talking about when we said
Be patient.
be patient because it's coming. It's coming. And no longer do you have to look at a WNBA game and have Caitlin Clark there to see a sold-out stadium.
Yeah.
These stadiums are selling out by the boatloads, if not at capacity, near capacity.
And she might be driving the train, but the Angel Reese's and Asia Wilson and Ines Sabrina, I love watching her. To me, I think she's the best guy. You know, like I would take her over Caitlin Clark. But there's so many more other people getting showcased, and now that they have the forum, people are that talent's been there, but they didn't have the platform that a Caitlin Clark had. She brought the platform, and we're noticing and respecting what she's doing. But there's so many other people that are now getting their shine. People are going to see the greatness of Asia Wilson, of Breonna Stewart, of all these other people that are out there doing the damn thing. That's a marketable fraud business now.
Yeah.
Now the funny thing I saw was they signed this $2.2 billion. Are they going to give the NBA back the $250 million they kept them from going into bankruptcy? Because this is the first year that.
But I thought they were together. That's all one
It
company.
is. NBA,
It is, but
NBA
they only
owns-
bought them like 5 years ago or something. Like, they
Listen,
lost money every year of existence.
So you don't give money back. So what happens is it's a write-off.
We invested, we lost.
Yeah, it's a write-off. So
And the
it doesn't
NBA
make a
doesn't
difference.
need the money.
No, they don't need the money. Hell no.
They're out there signing their own crazy
Yeah.
contracts.
So to put it into perspective is they have made now 3 times the amount than what they made last year.
Yeah. It's over 11 years, but 2.2 billion is
So they're going
2.2 billion
They're going so
with other contracts coming.
So if you with other
Other
contracts.
endorsements.
So if you figure out if you do the math right, we're just talking about in a year. So they've made 3.5 times over what they made, and last year was a loss. They were in the red. So guess what? Now, when WNBA players like Asia Wilson, like some of the veterans that are up for contracts, when they come up now, there's no excuse to say I can't pay these women in excess of $300,000, $400,000.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, we didn't make any money because it doesn't fit. You're releasing all these these numbers saying that you made 3.5 times over. So guess what? Now you have to come out of your pocket and pay these players.
And this is just the TV contract.
Yes.
A lot of them are now getting sneaker deals. They're getting paid off their uniform jersey sales.
Yes.
They're selling out the arenas. It ain't just Indiana that's selling out the arenas. I think the Chicago Sky has the highest attendance in the WNBA.
Yeah.
And now the way Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are continuing their rivalry, that Rookie of the Year is up for grabs.
Yeah.
They're talking about it's going to be a Grant Hill, Jason Kidd type of.
I think they have to go Cole.
Well,
if it
So
unless somebody really
just,
takes the lead.
So just this week, just this past week, Angel Reese had the
Streak
double
snap.
streak.
Yeah.
All right, she had and a couple of days ago, Caitlin Clark had
19
assists.
with 20-something points.
Yes.
24.
And they lost.
Yes.
And 5 rebounds.
Yes. So this
Stats
is what we're seeing. This is what is creating the must-see WNBA games. I know on Sundays now, or if there's nothing to do, the first thing I do is I look for WNBA games.
The only thing that frustrates me is they're on so early during the week.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking those are scores from last night. The game was at noon,
Yeah, they played yesterday.
and I'm like, you're at work.
Yeah.
That's not high visibility.
Well, the thing is too.
That's going to change with Amazon
Yes.
and ESPN.
Well, yeah. No, what's going to happen is you're going to start having primetime games, because you don't get signed by Amazon for a 12 o'clock game.
No.
You want odds.
Unless That's on the weekend.
And the eyes are on primetime television.
Yeah.
So
I can
you're
see
talking
Saturday, Sunday playing
seven.
that.
You're talking 7 o'clock on, just like the NBA. You're not going to be seeing those early games. You got to remember the contract hasn't gone into effect. It goes into effect next year. So now
It's coming.
you'll be seeing those games in primetime positions, which is good. I'm glad for the one. I'm glad.
Even though that money's next year, the attendance money's right now.
Yeah.
And that's what made, with all the eyes on them, here come the endorsement deals.
Yeah. And this is why we said stay patient. More so for the
And expansion.
an expansion. And more so for the veterans who everybody was making
Diana
a big,
Taurasi, every time.
everybody was making a big to do when people were when it seemed as if Caitlin Clark was getting a raw deal with some of the vets talking. That is just a competitiveness. No one wants to think that someone is better than they are, or they're going to talk great about them to the point where they're going to belittle themselves to put you up above them.
Yeah.
I mean, we had an athlete on here who I said, was there anyone in awe? And what did he say? He said, everybody puts their shoes on the same way, right? A Coop said that, right? So that's the same type of mentality that these women have. Just because they're women, don't think that they don't think differently. They think just like us.
They're competitive, but I also think the more frustrating issue that people tend to overlook a little bit, combined with that, is the fact that the WNBA has always had this talent. It wasn't getting exposed because they didn't have somebody to drive the platform hard enough. Because of what Caitlin Clark did in college, now people wanted to see, could she do it in the pros? Now by watching her, you're seeing the greatness of these other players who have already been there. When Maya Moore was playing, and other people, there's been talent in the WNBA. There has been, but they never got the exposure because it didn't have the boost that Caitlin Clark brought to it this year, and Angel Reese. Ever since their junior years, when they matched up with each other and all that, hand in the face and all that, which Caitlin started first, that's when people started really.
Caitlin didn't start it with her.
No, she did it with the girl from the team they beat in South Carolina. Yeah, when they knocked South Carolina out of it, and she did it, and then Angel Reese said, "Oh, that's not." Nobody's saying nothing because it's Caitlin Clark and she's a dominant white athlete. But when Angel Reese did it to her, mainstream America was all over it.
Yeah. Looking at some of the.
I was just wondering what it was.
I kind of fell asleep at the wheel with the comments over here. Melvin Jules is saying the Houston Rockets are going to have to move some pieces. Red, Whitmore, Green.
Oh, wait a minute. That's supposed to be Reed, I bet. Because I was like, who the hell is Red?
Reed, Whitman, Green.
Well, they brought in those veterans. I saw
Twins, Smith, Van Vliet, Brooks, Adams. It's going to be hard to move Van Vliet with the contract that he's got.
Didn't he just sign something?
Yeah, but they said that was something the organization and the coach, they wanted to bring in some veterans to lead. So they brought in Van Vliet, Brooks, and somebody else. Adams was hurt all last year. I think he'll get moved this year. I think he's already moved. Oh no, he got moved to them from Memphis.
He got moved to Rock.
But they brought in some veteran leadership to show the young guys how to win. They had this collection of talented draft picks, but they didn't learn how to win yet.
Adams is going to be their muscle for them young guys.
Yeah.
They're not going to get rid of him.
But they are going to have a log jam. So, but bringing in those veterans was something they wanted to do. And now, if nothing else, they're going to have depth. It's just going to be, how do you keep everybody happy? Because remember, they got, who's the shooting guy? Jalen Green?
Yes.
Was he mentioned? He's not even on that list. Oh yeah, he is. Whitmore, Green.
Yeah.
Reed Shepard just came in.
They have a lot of
Sangoon is the one I was talking about. The big.
They
guy.
have so they're
about 9 deep.
Their problem is young.
But they got a good coach that's going to get.
Yes. They're young. They're young. And they unfortunately for them, they're in the West. Which is going to be a roadblock for them. I don't know how much time you can keep with such a young group, because let's face it, you only have 3 years with these guys.
Who does this process remind you of?
OKC.
Yes.
OKC.
And OKC had to let
you have to
Josh Gidney go this year, and You know, hey, you got a free preview. You kept bringing in young people at the
OKC. Yeah, I was gonna say that OKC when they had all those guys on, when they had KD.
It was like the Florida Marlins in baseball.
Yes,
they win and then they have a fire sale.
They can't afford.
We won. Now we want to make money.
You have to do so. I tell people this a lot, and you have to be patient. Danny Ainge did a great job of being patient. He just kept on. They had so many picks. You remember?
He's doing it again right now.
Yes, he's doing it.
And Golden State ain't falling for it.
Yeah,
I saw that deal. He's trying to pull it.
You do it. He's doing it in Utah. So I mean, come on now. If you do business with Danny Ainge right now, you're looking for it. You're looking for it. But just like with the Celtics, he was patient. Danny Ainge, they just had him. Because I follow the Boston Celtics page, and they had a throwback to his 2 years ago, and they said, "What's the greatest trade offer that never happened?" And his response was mind blowing. So they said that the greatest trade that never. He said the greatest trade that never happened
for Boston.
Has to be Boston.
That never happened would have been the picks that resulted in Jason and Jalen.
Philly?
No. Jason and Jalen for what was it? It was, I want to say it was James Harden. He said that was on the table, and he said that he thought long and hard about it, and then he said no.
That would be crazy.
Well, this was one of the, but it wasn't. You got to remember, it was picks at the time. It wasn't players. It wasn't how they were players that were labeled to it. I didn't say it was. It was the picks. So they were the pick that ultimately the year before, that was Jalen, and the future one. Those picks were as a result of what. So basically, what they try to do is they try to get those picks that Brooklyn, that they got from Brooklyn with the KD and Paul Pierce.
KD and Paul Pierce.
Yes, they try to list those picks off of him, and he thought about it long and hard. And he said no. But that was one of the things. But you have to be patient. You have to be patient. You have to wait, and you have to kind of hope that you get with a team like Houston with draft picks, a team like OKC with draft picks. You're gonna be funneling through people. You gotta hope that you hit on some of the right people, and then let the other people go. Because if you remember with Boston, for years they were drafting guards. They were drafting guards and wings and guards. They couldn't hit on a big man worth a squat. Yeah. But they were drafting guards and wings and guards and wings, and they just kept on letting them go. Ultimately, the final piece was Marcus Smart. But all those other guys, they kept hiding them in the G League, and then they would trade them off. And they did that with a lot of their picks. You got to be patient. A lot of the teams, they want the instant gratification. They want it, and they want it now. And it's been proven. You look at some of the better teams, right? You look at some of the better. It goes to show you in the West, not so much the East, but the West. You look at those young and upcoming teams. That's homegrown talent.
Minnesota,
Towns, Edwards.
You look at all
Memphis.
They brought in a Gobert and a Conley.
Denver.
You
look at all. That's homegrown. All right. That's not. Let's go out and let's get this free agent and get this free agent. That happens more in the East. But on the West, those guys, a lot of homegrown talent. And the way that the contracts, the way that they're doing with the new Supermax, that is what it's meant to. That's what it's meant to do. It's meant, obviously, if you sign that new Supermax, you get 15% more with the team that you're with. So it gives them a chance to stay on there as opposed to going and joining other teams and being super. How can you turn down 15% more from your home team, you're giving away millions of dollars. And think about it. If you go to a place that doesn't have any, low taxes or no taxes, think about that, right? Just think about it. Think about how much money it is, and that's where, a lot of teams are at. There was another question on here that I wanted to address. Let's see where it is. The Lakers' other pick. Oh,
Dalton Connect.
Dalton Connect. Yes, he looks good.
Yeah, he didn't play the day that Bronny stepped up,
No.
but he's already proven himself. The last 2 games he's had.
So Andre's is JB a healthy Kawhi? JB is, I wouldn't say as good defensively, but offensively he's all that and more. Because his shooting, his ability to get down hills, he's just a beast now.
He just can't go left.
Oh, he went left this year.
He
went left this year.
He lost the ball a lot too.
No, he didn't. His
yes,
turnovers,
he did.
his turnovers are way
I
down.
don't know.
So you don't remember him carrying the trophy in his left hand. So everybody wants to
Jaylen
say,
Brown?
yeah,
He still had not turnovers.
he
cut him down.
he
but
cut
they
him
were
way
still
down.
up there.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, if you handle the ball that much and you're counted on that much,
I think
you have
Brayden and
more.
Drew Holiday and Derek White took some of the ball handling pressures
Well,
off
you,
him.
you don't have to. Now, instead of you handling the ball, you could be set up to get the ball to get into spots where you need to be. And that was the difference 2 years ago 3 years ago when they were in the finals. They lost. Those guys had to initiate the offense. They had, instead of being in the spots to put them to succeed, they had to get to the spots to succeed. Not this year. You had Derek White and you had that were just feeding them the ball. And now, guess what? Instead of you being 16 feet away from the basket, you're 6 feet away from the basket. And they were able to do what they needed to do. But yeah, for me, I think that especially at this point in their careers, you got a guy that plays that's never hurt and a guy that's always hurt. So yeah, like I said, defensively. Was he one? If you put both guys at their peak, obviously Kawhi wins there. But offensively now, I think Jalen has surpassed him because his ability to shoot, to get downhill, and on the break, he's just looking to dunk on everybody. He's taking no prisoners. I think he's a little more athletic in that way. But in this point in their careers, there's no comparison.
No, but he said that when he
is he healthy? But yeah, is he healthy? But you got to remember, I'm saying at their greatest points, Kawhi. We haven't seen a Kawhi healthy since Toronto. All right, it's been what, 5 years now? It's going on 5 years.
At least.
Yeah, it's going on 5 years. So we haven't seen a healthy Kawhi in 5 years. And will we now at this point in his career? I mean, it's like
I don't think he'll be healthy.
It's like looking at Joel Embiid. We don't look at Joel Embiid. It's like, when is he going to get injured, and how long is he going to be injured for? And that's when you start to look at him. There's
at least three guys in the NBA that are like that right now. It's Embiid, Kawhi, and Zion. Yeah, you can't count on any of them guys.
And they're all people that the NBA needs to keep that competitive balance and bring so much extra intrigue. But
and I'm sorry, we got one more. Zach LaVine. He can never stay healthy either.
And Ball, his teammate.
Well, it's only been 1 year, but he's been out. He's been out
2 years.
since that. But I'm saying he got hurt 1 year, but he's been out since that year that he's been hurt.
Right,
but
still, yeah,
2 years.
He hasn't
But
played a game
that's
in
his
2
first
years.
injury.
Yeah, but he's not always injured.
No, this is the first.
But I tell you what, I was looking at him yesterday, showing him some video. He looked pretty good.
So did Ben, Mr. Simmons. But
I
who is he playing against?
They show that every year.
I sent you that, didn't I?
But they show that every year of him.
Yeah.
Him making a knockdown three.
Killing him.
Then when he gets into the game, he doesn't want to shoot. Listen, you know who you can play against and what you do when you play against lesser talent, as opposed to when you get in the game and you're playing against, a talented team. every year we saw his agent put a video out there.
Yeah, but the crazy part about it is if he played with that much confidence in the NBA, he dominant because he's that big.
Yeah.
And he's athletic.
And he's making a boatload of money.
Yeah, he sure is.
Making 40, what is it, 41 or 42 million?
He's up there.
He's made it for a few years.
Yeah.
And it gets higher every year, so he's going to make even more this year.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, so right now I think Kawhi and they're opposite ends of their careers. But if you put them, I think if you put them, one has strengths and the other one has strengths. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So anything else before we turn over to the
basketball wise?
Yeah.
There was a couple of things I was just looking at. I want to say congratulations to Lindsey Harding, the first female coach that's now been hired on part of the Lakers staff.
Yes.
She was the coach of the year in the G League.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she got wooed away. This is like the third or fourth that now we have a high-ranking female coach. We don't have a head coach yet, but we got top assistants. Every year we seem to get another one coming over.
I'm going to go on record and say that when Greg Popovich leaves, you'll see the first female coach come from his staff.
Yeah, because he played around with the Lieberman thing, and then he had somebody last year.
Yeah, didn't he name one of them girls co-head coach or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got multiple women on the staff. I'm going to go on record and say when he leaves, I will not be shocked if you see the first female head coach come from that camp, because he's there's no biasness with him.
No.
He believes firmly in his staff, and he sticks to his guns.
Now, when he leaves, you think he's going to go up to upper management? Or you
Probably.
think he's gonna just
Probably.
He's up there in age too,
He
so
is.
I see him doing the Pat Riley thing.
He is. You know what? I think if they didn't get Wembanyama,
He's already been gone.
he would have been gone.
Yeah, that's a
Now
game-changing talent.
I think that probably gave him a 5-year window, and I think now it gave him a little more of a will to coach. But I'm looking at him probably being out of there within the next 4
Do you consider him one of the best coaches ever?
Yeah. Simply because of the fact that how he was able to integrate an aging veteran with a new guy coming in, and then made international players sexy.
Yep, and did it in a small market.
Yes.
San Antonio doesn't have,
It's not Dallas.
yeah, Dallas, Houston.
It's not Dallas,
a big market
but,
city team.
Hey, but not nothing. Just think about how San Antonio got down. That year,
Boston.
That year was supposed to be Boston.
Boston, I know. They dropped to the number 4 pick.
3
pick. Yeah, I know. That was just Boston just went through 10 years of bad.
That was crazy.
10 years of bad business.
That was
with
it.
the
That
That was the year
Yes.
Boston got Chauncey
Reggie
Billups and
Lewis.
Ray Mercer.
Yes. And
Ron Mercer.
Ron Mercer.
Ray Mercer was a Boston.
Yeah, you don't want Ray Mercer
No.
following you around.
Yeah.
You don't want me. But yeah, side note with that story. So you remember when Ron Mercer, when he came up for a contract, you know why they wouldn't give him a contract, right? Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce. They were like, he wanted big money, and they were like, nah, we got Paul Pierce. He's gonna take over immediately for you. And that was big back then in Boston, because that's how we would, once again, that's how we were drafting, was we couldn't draft big men to save our life. But we were getting
Phillips, Mercer, and Walker here, right?
yeah, we were hitting with the guards and forwards, but we couldn't draft any big men to save our lives. So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, I firmly believe that when Pop hangs it up, that there will be a first female coach will come from that camp. Like I said, over the 20-year span, they never had a losing record. That's crazy. In all sports, they led.
Factor in injuries,
They
people
led.
retiring.
But the thing with
always
him,
readjust.
so when you talk about the when you talk about the invasion of foreign players, that team right there was the epitome. They had
Ginobili,
they had
Parker,
they had all the
Even Duncan.
international players, and it made international players sexy.
and made the rest of the world watch for the NBA.
That's right. That's right.
I got somebody to stay up. Like people
They
used to
weren't-
stay up all hours
they-
to watch Yao Ming play.
There wasn't just one player. There were multiple
Mhm.
players. So that's what made it so good. And how he did it, like I said, with an agent David Robinson, integrated them with Duncan, and they never lost a beat. They just kept going and going and going, and they did it for 2 decades, which was amazing. Pretty much they did not as successful as the Patriots, but they were in that talk all the time. And more importantly, winning seasons. They had the record up until the Patriots, for most winning seasons, up until the Patriots surpassed them. But it was one of those things that, they just kept going and going and going and going. So yeah, when he goes, you have to mention his name as one of the greatest. Not to mention too, he's been involved with he's been an advisor for the
Olympics.
for the
USA
Olympics,
basketball.
so he's well respected throughout the NBA community. Not to mention his interviews with Classic.
Oh, very good. Yes. Yeah.
His interviews with Classic.
He had some of the best ever.
It's like you had to tip around what and how you asked them, because you never knew what you were gonna get. You never knew.
He used to
Never
mess around
knew.
with what's his face.
Oh yeah, the one that passed.
Yeah. The guy that dressed crazy.
Yeah. But
Great
yeah,
Sager.
yeah. But yeah, he'll get us in the end. All right, so we'll move on to the vaunted lists, the 100 greatest athletes of the 21st century let's just
Don't
remember,
make the mistake I
per
made.
ESPN.
Yeah, the crazy part about I want to know who was the board that came up with this.
So
How
what they
many
do,
different sports
so-
heads you have to have involved.
so what they did was how they compiled the list. It's all ESPN writers. It was exclusively to ESPN writers who covered all the sports. So what they did was they put a panel together, I guess, for every sport, and they had the same amount of writers that went into it, and then there was like first place votes, second place votes, third place votes, and then when they were all tallied up, they put them into a computer, and then the computer spit them back out and gave the rankings. That's how it went.
There must have been more basketball voters than football, because 4 and 5 should be flip flopped.
So we'll look at 1 through 10 real quick. So number 1, we'll go 10.
10,
We'll go
yeah.
10. Kobe Bryant was number 10. Usain Bolt 9. Tiger Woods 8. Simone Biles 7. Roger Federer 6. Tom Brady 5. LeBron James 4. Lionel Messi 3. Serena Williams 2. Michael Phelps number 1. So let's go from there. Anyone too high? Anyone too low? Anyone doesn't belong there? Thoughts?
I'll start out and say Tom Brady should be higher,
Tom Brady should be ahead of LeBron James.
and probably Lionel Messi, in my opinion. But I understand Lionel Messi's.
That's more on the world stage that we
bigger.
don't get access to because soccer's so huge
But
everywhere else.
this is ESPN we're talking
Yeah.
about. This is
yeah, and
this
ESPN
is a
doesn't
list.
cover Messi a
This is
lot.
this is a list made by ESPN. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. So
just the accolades that Tom Brady has. Like you said, the Patriots were winning for 20 years. He also went somewhere else and won another Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That's not easy to do.
So for more than half of his career, he made Super Bowls.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
He won.
basically saying every other year he's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, just about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he was 7-3 in Super Bowls.
7-3, 7-4.
7-3.
He made it to 10 Super Bowls.
Yes, 7-3. It could have easily been 5-5.
He lost to the Giants twice and the Eagles once.
Could have easily been 5-5.
Could have easily been 4
4
and
to
6.
6, yes.
Yeah.
Because those first 3 Super Bowls were won by a field goal. But then on the other hand,
And then the dumb play call by
Seattle. But those games against the Giants could have gone either way.
Yeah.
You think about
The
the
helmet
catch and some of the things that happened. But yeah, I mean it is 7-3. That's still a great record. But like I was saying, every other year in the Super Bowl, that's crazy. And I now that we're saying that, LeBron James was once in that scenario. What's his record in finals?
4
Who are we talking about?
LeBron James. In
3 and
finals.
5 or something?
No, he has 4.
Four.
He has 4. He has 4.
Oh yeah, we forgot the bubble.
Yeah.
4. He has 4.
I don't really know.
I think he's 4 and 6.
He's been in the 10 finals.
Yes. 4 and
Well,
6.
Brady's record's only slightly over 500, but he just been there more times.
No, he's 7-3.
7 and 3. In the finals.
He's 7-3.
finals?
Oh yeah, 7-3. 7-3.
Well, I think he was like 6-4 or something.
Well, he got 6 with the Patriots, 1 with.
One
all
with
right,
Tampa,
all right,
yeah.
Yeah, he's only lost 3.
So maybe they're going off of, but still yet, Tom Brady has succeeded more than LeBron James.
You know what I think is weighing real heavy for LeBron is the fact that he broke the all-time scoring record.
Brady's got all-time
everything
passing
record.
yards.
He's got all time.
He's got over 100. He's got over 100,000 passing yards.
Yeah.
Bro.
But Brady's got everything. He's got touchdowns.
But I think the main thing that you look at in basketball is the all-time scoring lead and how long that record stood. With Brady, that's one thing. That's passing yards. That's not touchdowns. There's so many other categories.
He's got the most touchdowns.
He's for any accolade there is.
I still think he's better than LeBron, but I'm just saying LeBron.
No, but for any accolade that
in football
that a quarterback can hold, he holds.
LeBron
LeBron James. Let's face it. Every time he steps on the court, he's going to break a record because obviously the game is a score, and he's going to every time he steps on the court, it's a new record every day with every point. And the same thing was happening with Tom Brady.
And not for nothing. And you guys know I'm not a Tom Brady guy.
I'm not either.
But Michael, they gave Michael Phelps #1. Why? Because of his individual wins. Tom Brady's got more wins than LeBron.
Well, when you're comparing them two, I think Tom Brady has way more accomplishments than LeBron.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why they rank LeBron so much when his championships don't compare to Brady.
Yeah.
But I think being the all-time leading scorer was something
but
they weighted a little heavier.
But the thing is, right? You can't say longevity because they both over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you can't say, well, LeBron played longer.
Yeah, well, Brady
20 years.
Yeah.
20 years. What's the difference between 20 and 23 or 20 and 24? Nothing, really. And you ask me, other than the fact that you get the chance to play with your kid. But I you can't say, well, he got the longevity because Tom Brady did it in a sport which is much more violent.
Yeah.
And he did it at a time. He did it over a period of time with a lot of different players, and he didn't jump to super teams. He didn't jump. He didn't say, okay. He
stayed until him and Belichick had that risk.
Exactly. He didn't say, okay, let me jump to, like he did the last year.
The Bucks.
Let me go to a team that all they needed was a quarterback.
Yeah, pretty much.
He didn't do that till his final year, where LeBron did it, multiple times.
Cleveland to Miami,
and then back to Cleveland, and then LA. But this is the thing, you want to look at it and you say, okay, Tom Brady has more accolades in winning championships. For those two, I think the only way you can weigh it is their careers pretty much parallel across the board with years, all-time leading this, all-time leading that. So now you have to go with who has the most individual accolades, who has the most Super Bowls to the championships, and that's clear cut there. One's on the losing end spectrum, and the other one's on the winning.
How many MVPs does Brady have? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I want to say 4, maybe. want to say I want to say 4. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I mean, they're both for their perspective sport. They're both, like I said, every time they touch the ball, they were making records. But I would flip them to 5 and 4.
I might even flip Brady with Messi.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not. I'm not privy. With his individual accolades, so I can't speak on it. I know as when it comes to soccer, he's a world icon, but I don't know enough about his career.
10-time La Liga champion,
Yeah,
7-time Copa champion.
5 MVPs for Brady.
So I can't say that. But I can tell you, Serena Williams dominated tennis for a decade and a half.
Yeah.
23 major titles.
Probably there's only one person with more, and that's what's her face?
It was a guy. She's the number 1 woman. 23-time major champion, second most by a player all time. But was it Federer that had more than? Wait a minute.
I thought what's her name had more than her.
She broke the record with Steffi Graf. She broke the record because that's the one she won, the last one when she was pregnant. I think it says it in.
Yeah, she won the last one.
Yeah, she was tied and she didn't think she was gonna break it.
4 months pregnant, wasn't she?
Yep. Here it is right here. She needed to win one more Grand Slam to break a tie with Steffi Graf for most in the Open era. She had been chasing for a really long time and remained in the 2017 Australian Open draw, even after finding out she was pregnant shortly before.
Roger Federer has.
Yeah, he has.
For men.
Yeah, but that's the only person. They combined the men's and women. I think he got 24, she got 23.
Yeah, she was. When you looked at her, she was like the Mike Tyson of women's tennis. You looked at her and she did it for a decade and a half, and
Sorry, Jokic has 24.
Oh, all right. I thought I saw 24.
Jokic has 24. Nadal has 22. Federer has 20.
3 male tennis players on that.
Oh, there's one lady that has more than.
That's what I thought it was. Martina, right?
Margaret Court.
Oh, that's what it was.
She was 24.
Yes, I knew there was one more woman.
Yeah, that was.
I knew there was one more woman.
Margaret Court.
She's second most. But just think about it, right?
Slams.
Just think about it, right? For 15 years, she was like the Mike Tyson when it came to women's tennis. It was like you knew it was coming, and there was nothing.
Yeah, and I think she did it nothing against Margaret Court, but tennis had evolved and got so competitive that there was so many more great players. That was like when we compared to Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell era days, like 12 teams in the league or something like that.
She was saying that she hates. She hated when she had a matchup against her sister.
Oh yeah.
Because in the beginning, her sister was better than her.
Yeah.
But she just got stronger.
We talked about Simone Biles.
That's one that I think should be higher.
So looking at it, 7-time Olympic medalist, tied for most by an American gymnast. She'll break that this year. 4 Olympic gold medals. 2016 tied for the most by a female gymnast.
Remember, she sat out 2020.
Yes, mental.
She would have had more stuff added onto that list.
Yes. Since winning her first national title in 2013, Biles has gone undefeated in all-around competition.
That's the
in
impressive
every
part.
meet she has competed in.
Every single meet, all around, everything combined.
Wait, it says it right here.
Yeah.
A staggering achievement in a sport that used to age out athletes in their teens.
Yep. By 17, 18, you were washed up.
Now 27, Biles punctuated her return to gymnastics after taking 2 years off following the Tokyo Games by winning U.S. trials by an outstanding 5.5 points. 5.5 points.
When you're getting separated by tenths of a point, 9.8 to 9.4, 5.5, all around. That's every single gymnastics category. Never lost. That's why I make the comparison saying, imagine Tom Brady or Michael Jordan winning the championship every single year they played. Because that's what you compare it to. She's never been in a competition since 2014 which is 10 years ago, for 10 straight years, and she took 2 years off, she never, ever lost. How do you compare that? Tom Brady lost 3 Super Bowls. You know, Michael Jordan never lost.
Never lost in the finals.
But he never won every year.
No.
She won every single competition she was in and all of her. So you can't just say, oh, she was just dominant at the ball. No, the floor exercise, the ball, the rings, the whatever thing made up, whatever 4 or 5 categories made up all around, she was dominant in all of them. That just blows my mind to have somebody say you never lost. Not just in just never lost any competition.
Yeah.
That's dominance. I think that bumped her up the list.
So where?
Not,
In your opinion, where do you think?
I think that she passes Federer,
Why?
and I still think her career was better than LeBron's. I think LeBron should be at like 6 or 7. Because never lost. There's nobody on that list that can make that claim. I've won everything I've been in. I don't know what it feels like to lose. Up until then, we only made that comment about Michael Jordan, but that only involved when he made it to the championship. He didn't make it to the championship every year. She made it to the championship every year, and every year she won. I can't imagine any type of sports team saying, Brady has won 20 consecutive Super Bowls. 7 consecutive Super Bowls. For 10 years, she never lost.
You can make the same argument for Usain Bolt too.
Well, he was the second person on my list. But he did lose.
Later on, when he was pretty much getting ready to call. He didn't lose.
But if you look at his stats, 3 straight Olympics, winning 100 and 200.
Yeah, and the 4x1.
Yeah, but 3 straight Olympics, that's 12 years. You know how your longevity has to come into play, how dedicated you have to be? Because how old was he when he started?
He's a sprinter.
He started when he was 20. Yeah, well, Jamaica, that's their main claim to fame with track and field. If you're a sprinter, that's like being a Michael Jordan over there.
Yeah, no.
I'm looking down in the list, and I'm a little confused by some of the people that are on there. So to start with basketball,
After the top 10.
Yes, I'm looking basically. So if we just go by basketball players behind James and Kobe Bryant, it says 24 total hoopers on the list, including Tim Duncan at 16, Shaquille O'Neal at 17, Diana Taurasi at 21, Kevin Garnett at 23.
Where's Curry?
Curry's up there.
Curry's in he's
the
in the
third highest
mid-teens.
ranked player behind James and Bryant.
He's in the mid-teens.
One of 24 total hoopers.
You can look right on that paper. So I was a little confused. So they got Kevin Garnett at 21.
That's a hard one.
23.
Excuse me, 20.
23.
Not when you're.
Diana Taurasi was 20.
I don't know if I have him as a 23rd rated basketball player. Let mind all athletes combined.
We're in the 2000s.
Yeah, he only won 1 title.
Yeah, but he did a lot of other stuff.
But I'm saying this is not just basketball. Like,
No, I understand.
I have a hard time putting him in like the top 20
you said
in basketball.
in basketball,
Right. From the 2000s.
Are you kidding?
All time.
So
All
wait,
time.
Are you kidding?
well, wait,
He averaged 2015 and
wait, hold on. I'm gonna give it right
One
here.
championship.
I'm gonna give it right here. Okay, so some of his accolades. 75th, he's the NBA 75th anniversary team. Basketball Hall of Famer in 2008, NBA champion in 2008, 2003, 2004 MVP, 2007, 2008 Defensive Player of the Year, 13-time All-Star, 12 all-time defensive team, 8-time NBA selection, 2003 All-Star Game MVP. My thing is, granted, he had 3 very great years with the Celtics. I don't know if his numbers should have been retired as a Celtic. 3 years, just 3 good years.
I get that.
Because you bring 1 title,
I get that.
you want to raise his number. And
The number, I don't see that. I don't think that should happen.
But I'm still confused at him being there. So then it gets even more murky for me. So you got Kevin Garnett at 23, Jokic at 28.
That's and I understand he's a what, 2-time MVP, but it's still. I don't think
He's done enough. His body of work is it's incomplete to me. So we'll look at more. So do you think at this point in time that Jokic? Yeah, that's what I said. He's high teens. Do you think that Jokic right now, if his career were to end, do you think he did more than Dwayne Wade?
How many titles did Dwayne Wade get?
3.
Because I know he won 1 with Shaq. He won 2 with Miami.
He won 3. He won 3.
I'm saying he won 2 with LeBron. I meant to say.
Yeah.
3 titles.
That's pretty impressive.
So let's just say that if you were to stop right now, right? Do you think that he's done more than Dwayne Wade?
No, I don't think so.
So,
but Dwayne Wade had more time to build that resume.
I know
this guy's career is not.
But you can't give it to him, and you can't project
Yeah,
going
you can't
forward.
project what he's going to do. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. If you were to go right now, you just release this list, so you can only go off the stats that he's put up so far. So this is where it gets murky for me. All right. So you got it starts with Kevin Garnett, then Jokic. I think Dwayne Wade needs to be a little higher there. Kevin Durant, Dirk.
Doesn't Shaq have 4 titles?
Even
Yeah, but Shaq's up there.
Shaq's up there. Yeah. Yeah, Shaq's up there.
Shaq's at 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got Dirk, then you got Giannis.
I don't think Giannis should be on it.
I don't think he should either.
Steve Nash should be higher.
Yes.
Oh, because you don't have any championships. Is that why he's low? He's a 2-time MVP. He's led the league in assists several times. He was up there in steals.
So for me, okay, yeah, I don't know. I think Candace Parker could possibly be higher. James Harden, I'm totally against. He's 1-0. You can even make an argument that Jason Kidd in front of James Harden at least got a title. Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, they start bringing in the women. And they've got Asia Wilson at 90.
She's just starting now.
Yeah.
Show her.
Yeah, that's the same argument we're on.
That's the same argument that I can say with Jokic.
Got to do it. What you got right now?
Jokic, but he's at a high 28. For me, I don't know.
But what Jokic averages in the years we've seen, I've never seen one person, especially a center, almost average a triple-double for a damn season. I mean, I've seen guys.
Not for nothing, Westbrook averaged a triple-double. He's not on this list.
Yeah, but he's not. Westbrook doesn't have a championship, and
Are we going?
Westbrook did it.
Are we going? Now, this
for losing teams.
You've got to take everything and put everything in perspective. To me, you've got to take and put everything.
All right, so
it's got to go individual accolades. It's got to go team.
Chris Paul doesn't have any MVPs. I mean, any MVPs, any championships.
James Harden too.
They're both on this list.
Yeah, like I said, for me, it's weird. Some of the people that are on here, it gets a little murky. I don't know. I mean, it's 100. You're talking 100 athletes, and to have 100 athletes, you got to take into account what they did.
So what kept Tiger Woods lower on that list? Because I thought he might have been a little higher than 8.
I don't know. In the beginning of the decade, he was killing it.
He started off, but did he start in the 90s and then kind of go into the 2000s?
He started at 16.
Well, yeah, when he started winning, I'm saying because there was a period where he was winning everything, just like Serena was winning. So I always thought Serena and Tiger were 2 of the most dominant individual athletes I've ever seen.
Yeah, because actually, think about it. Tiger wasn't he playing when Michael Jordan was playing?
I think he took the mantle from Jordan when Jordan was the top Nike, because he had more advertising dollars than Michael Jordan did.
Yeah.
which is crazy. But they said golf was more popular around the world.
So
He made the most endorsement money.
all right, so 13 major wins, most of any player during the span. 11 major wins as world #1 golfer, 9 more than any player all time. Even after a record-breaking career in which Woods won 82 times on the PGA Tour, including 15 major championships, he was ranked #1 golfer in the world for 281 consecutive weeks.
That's 4, 5, 6 years.
And 600
7 years.
and 683 overall.
It was only until he started getting hurt. All that stuff was accumulated in the first 10 years of his career.
He didn't start getting hurt until he got caught.
But still, he was dominating while he was healthy. That's my point. Everything else is
He won his first
speculative.
major at age 21.
Yeah, but from 21 to 30, I say he was the most dominant sports athlete. And then at 30, that's when his off the field life started falling apart.
So
He started having distractions that led to injuries.
Joel just made the mistake that he must have just chimed in.
Oh, because
He
I
made
said
the-
the same
he made
thing,
the same mistake.
Joe, we're thinking the same way, buddy.
So we're talking in the 21st century. So that means
Only
you have
from
to come
2000 on.
2000. You have to come from
Wow,
2000.
you just say somebody from the Houston Astros? You just say Nolan Ryan, Joe? I know you wasn't born then, but still.
Oh yeah, they would have to have played from 2000 on. And Wayne Gretzky was
My man
such a
Joe,
long time.
he's good guy there.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what and how they went into picking this list. But
You know what's crazy? I used to say that. The first hockey player, the dude from Pittsburgh,
Mario Lemieux?
Crosby. Sidney Crosby at 22.
Well, he was Sid the Kid back then.
Yeah.
Can you think of a more dominant player than him at that time? He was considered the best.
Sidney Crosby was the best.
Oh, yeah.
He was
And
the best.
Lemieux played before 2000.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think in order to look at this list, we need to look at the criteria.
Well, wait.
Which was set.
What I wanted to say earlier. They had Floyd Mayweather at 25. The guy's not. You're talking about somebody that's never lost.
That's
He's
what I
never
meant to
lost.
bring up when we were talking about Simone Biles.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember.
I
I
couldn't
couldn't write it
remember.
down. And I said, you should bring it up when we
Yeah,
talked about it
yeah.
earlier. I'll bring up Biles, you bring up him. Same argument.
Yeah.
When you've never lost.
Never lost.
Never lost. You've never failed.
50 up, 50 down.
You got the Khaled, all I do is win.
But obviously people don't like him because he's
That's
cocky.
not what you're getting
Exactly.
judged on. My accomplishments. You play to win the game. How many times did I lose? 0.
So ultimately,
He's the biggest omission. I'm gonna say.
Ultimately, so this may be the reason why I'm looking at it. So his career started in 96.
96.
So you got to chop off 4 years.
Yeah, but what did he accomplish in those first 4 years? He got greater as he went along.
Well, no, but I'm just saying. So
Was he a champion before 2000?
In 2005 to 2015, it was pound for pound #1.
But I'm still saying he didn't become a world champion in the
Not 96.
It was the 21st century.
he started his career in the 20th century.
He won world titles in 5 weight classes, dominated the pound for pound rankings from 2005 to 2015. His immaculate defense was a trademark shoulder roll technique, 5 punches. Yeah,
He's got to be in the top 10.
He fought Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo Alvarez, Miguel Cotto.
And
That's what he's not for. But you can only fight who's available. You can't.
And
no, I know, but
he's the highest
big
ranked
names.
boxer.
yeah, he's the number one. He's the first ranked boxer.
So boxing in general,
At
yeah, but from
25.
2000, he's the most high-profile boxer we've had. I don't think there's anybody else whose career.
Not right now. No.
All the other boxing greats were pre-2000 that we could put in the top. Like obviously, Muhammad Ali would be on there.
So who was the first baseball player?
Albert Pujols.
Okay, that makes sense because
24.
he was the first one of the first ones to 3,000 in that time.
600 home runs.
Yes.
Power and average.
Yes. I was going to say
And no controversies, no steroid. He never got his name brought up in the steroid
No.
era. Right?
3-time MVP, 6-time slugger, 2-time World Series champ, 703 home runs, 4th all time.
Yeah, Albert Pujols is a problem.
Randy Moss, number 27.
That's kind of high.
With no championship.
Yeah, that's kind of high for him. As great as he was, and I'm a Randy Moss fan, as big as they come.
Hey,
But
they should put him in a Raiders or Patriots jersey, not that one.
He had a short career with the Patriots. You think about what his greatest accomplishments came. I mean, statistic-wise, he had his greatest season with the Patriots, but what he did prior to the Patriots was pretty crazy.
What do you have? Three for what? One
game in Dallas.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Yeah,
that was crazy.
I remember the soundbite. Yeah, people say I only caught 3 catches for this many yards, and they were all touchdowns.
He was mad at Dallas. He wanted to be drafted by Dallas.
Yeah. And the one time that they should have drafted the guy who had issues coming out, they shied away from him. And what do you get for that? You get toasted.
Hey, Minnesota got lucky twice on that. Him and AP. They both dropped, and we got them, and they turned out to be fantastic players, you know. Hey, you're drafting somebody to play the game. You know, you're not drafting to win a Mr. Congeniality contest or something, or the best outstanding citizen. But you also got to weigh the risk. So I know there's a ton of people that if they could go back, there's a lot of people that we saw drafted late.
Oh, yeah. Calvin Johnson would have been on Raiders.
What was his number where he was drafted, though?
He was drafted number 2.
So
Raiders picked Jamarcus Russell.
It's pretty wild to see, and you really don't think about it, but Big Papi, 45. Big
Now,
Papi,
what number baseball player there? We said Pujols was 20-something. Was Derek Jeter up there?
No,
he was 90s.
Oh.
Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, he played that long ago?
Clayton Kershaw, Mike Trout.
He started in 90. What was it? You know, it was pretty wild. I seen a thing with Jeter and someone else, and they had played the same amount of years, same amount of championships. I forget who it was. It was Derek Jeter and somebody else.
How many championships did Derek Jeter have? 2, 3,
4.
Yes, 4.
Yes. Yes, 4. So late 90s, early 2000s is when they won most of their titles with that group, with Jeter, Rivera, and who was the catcher? Posada.
Bernie Williams was with them?
Yeah, Bernie Williams. That's what it was. Bernie Williams. I'm sorry, it was Bernie Williams. But yeah, so that was the time right there.
That was the early 90s.
Yes, it was the early 90s.
No, early 90s.
Late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. And then, so you got to remember the Red Sox became, serious threats to them in the early 2000s, where they were like
2004.
Yes, well, 2004 ultimately. So you just think about it. 2003, they were home ones in extra innings, almost extra innings, 9th inning. From going, from advancing.
Wakefield gave
boom.
The boom. Yeah.
Boom. So it says it right here. Since January 1st, 2001, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Champion, World Series champion, 2013 World Series MVP, 10-time All-Star, 7 times Silver Slugger, 531 home runs, third most since 2000. So there you go, right there. That's huge, right there. Above everything, Big Papi will be remembered for feasting in the biggest moments, as he is the greatest designated hitter Ortiz had. Cooperstown's numbers: 541 career home runs and a 931 OPS. But that's only the tip of Papi's boisterous iceberg. He had 17 career playoff homers as part of
Mr. Clutch. How he came through when it was needed.
Clubs, and a 455 over 14 World Series games. 455 average.
There's 8 players above him.
After Minnesota gave up on him and the Red Sox stole him for peanuts. Yeah.
8 baseball guys had a Papi.
That includes 2013, when at the age of 37, he went 11 for 16 with 2 homers in it and 8 walks in the Fall Classics against. They couldn't get him. I think the only way you would have got him out was if you tackled him before he came out of the batter's box. That's crazy. And that was at age 37. But yeah, so did you see that the Red Sox drafted his son?
Yep. And the Angels drafted Manny Ramirez's son.
Yes.
Well, they all
They all
played
played
together. There was
together.
three of them.
Yes.
There's
They all
somebody
played-
else we're missing. Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, and there was a third one. And they all three of their sons came up together.
Yes, they all played in the minors
Was it
together.
Sheffield?
Yes. No, it was another Red Sox player.
Oh,
It was another Red Sox player. All three of their sons played together in the minors. I forget who it was.
But Sheffield does have a son that I think is close in age to them.
No, but it was three Red Sox.
No, I was just saying.
Yeah.
I think that was, but I wasn't sure if it was all Red Sox. I know I heard Sheffield's name, but I know Ramirez. I know Big Papi. I can't imagine who else is.
It was someone else's son that played. I forget who
Probably
it
a
was.
pitcher or something.
But yeah, so
Pedro have any kids playing?
no. But yeah,
They're all around the same age.
it was you look at you said there was 4 other baseball players before him? 8 other. So yeah, but we gotta remember that you gotta go, a lot of people say, oh, it's from 2000 on. And Poppy was just starting to showcase his stuff with the Red Sox at that time as a DH. And the funny part about it is when the Yankees talk about it, they had overlooked him. It was a simple oversight, and the Red Sox, it wasn't.
it is Pedro's. Manny, Pedro's, and Papi's kids are all the
Oh,
same.
All right,
was-
so I was saying, I knew there were 3 people that played around the same time.
They all played on the Brockton Rocks.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because I remember they had the pictures of them.
Yep.
They had the pictures of them with
And
all
then,
the pictures.
even though those were all 3 Red Sox, Sheffield's son is also in that same age bracket.
Just think,
They all played in the same career.
so just think, if it wasn't because of who was one of the biggest advocates for Big Papi was Pedro. Pedro said, take a look at this guy. He said that he has a great swing, his work ethic, and he's just one of those.
Still in Minnesota.
Yes, he's one of those guys that just needs a better environment where he's going to play more and he'll succeed.
Well, he saw him a lot more in the Dominican Republic, and he was probably getting more opportunities playing there in winter ball. But when he came over, Minnesota just didn't find a place for him.
Yeah.
They gave him away for a bag of stale peanuts, and now they're like, oh, I can't believe we had this dude.
So yeah, it worked out. He became known as the Yankee Killer. He made Boston Laurel literally in one whole season, game after game after game, 3 games in a row, which was pretty amazing. But yeah, so we are come to an end to tonight's show.
Not bad, because a lot of stuff that made you think. I mean, the list for sure.
Yeah, well,
Really, no right or wrong answers.
There you go.
Just curiosity.
there
Just
you go.
where
Where you vote somebody, where I vote
Yes.
somebody, where he votes somebody, they're all deserving.
You can always question a list that isn't put out, that is made up by just one group.
Yeah.
How many times do you see greatest rappers being put out by these different
It's all about the
panels or different different news medias?
what side of this country you're on.
Yeah. So it's always debatable. It's always, you can always question and stuff like that. That's what this list is. It's fun to look at them and you go up, you go down. Some people can be moved in, some people can move out. But it is what it is. It just makes for a good conversation piece at the end of the day. But yeah, like I said, we've come to an end of the show. And before we sign off, we've actually have our comedy show.
Oh, yeah, we took the summer off. A lot of things going on, a lot of free events, but we're coming back in September. And we have a very unique show. It's going to be the first time anybody around here has ever featured a father and son combination. Gerald Kelly's been doing it since Def Comedy Jam. He's a beast. He was one of the original New York Kings of Comedians. But he has his 10-year-old son on tour all over the country with him. And the kicker, they were both on America's Got Talent. People can go watch the YouTube videos of both of them. And I'm not sure, but I think his son made it a little further. His son was 7 years old at that time. He's a seasoned veteran at 10 years old. If you're thinking, you know, hey, what do they do? You need to see this kid. Like, you're going to be impressed. So we got that for you. Gerald Kelly headlining. Little Hunter Kelly will be the feature. And Chris Tabb, who's become a fan favorite. Every time we put a show together, everybody's asking us, Chris is going to be a part of it. He's a brilliant host. So September 13th, the flyer will be posted within the next 12 hours. Tickets are available now, $25 to see this great show. Tables are 10 for 200. Tables are 8 are available. You know, let us know.
Yeah, well, we are back into the mix, and you know, we'll be doing it all the way till the end of the year.
And aren't you somewhere this Saturday?
Yes, this Saturday. If you missed us 2 weeks ago,
Jam packed.
It was.
You might have tried to get in.
It was a classic night. Summer Vibes continues down at the Lighthouse in the south end of New Bedford. Myself and DJ Nomad will be on the 1s and 2s. Doors open at 9. We'll be we'll be doing a thing till 2 a.m. Make sure you come on down. Come on down a little early. Grab a bite to eat.
Yeah, those will be open before 9.
Great food is crazy.
Food.
Food is crazy.
Go down.
There.
They've got multiple servings of kachupa if you want the beef, the pork, or the chicken. They've got them all separated.
Catering to everybody's desires.
Yes. So go come down a little early. Grab a bite to eat, and then it'll be all set off with Summer Vibes happening Saturday, 9 to 2 a.m. Lighthouse Tavern. All right. And with that being said, I guess we'll sign off.
Well, this is our last friendly show because,
Oh,
training camps opened up today.
Oh, yeah, so-
all our teams will be back. We'll be
So-
talking about
in
preseason.
2 weeks, we'll be breaking down divisions.
Yeah.
Breaking
So
down divisions.
remember, we won't see you
making
next week, but when we come back, we'll be in August.
2 weeks. So yes, so stay tuned for that. And as usual, remember to go and download the WMB1 Radio app. Follow and like us on all our social medias in general. But the one thing that we're trying to do is build up WMB1 Radio, straight to the point sports, as well as all the other great programming that we got going on. So, like I said, with that being said, we're gonna sign off, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. All right, peace. We're out.
I would like to introduce
Okay, let's go.
SPRORTS, online radio station.